I honestly don't know how to tackle the video. Part of me is fuming because of the stuff I've read, and the other part of me is confused because I can't understand how some people can be so delusional. So the Joker trailer came out a few days ago, and I have to say I'm genuinely excited about the film. It looks dark and gritty. Somehow, the lack of CGI and over-the-top set pieces made the teaser more appealing. Chilling even. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there who might look at it and say, not as good as Heath Ledger. I'm sure people said the same thing about Heath Ledger when he took on the role of the Joker after Jack Nicholson. The only thing I ask of you is to reserve your judgment till the movie comes out. We only got a teaser right now to work with. There's no other information available about the movie like the story or involvement of other characters like Harley Quinn or Batman and so on. Anyways, moving on. Heath Ledger did a phenomenal job with his version of the Joker, and that's just not him alone. It's down to the director as well, who envisioned the role and the script. I have to say that Christopher Nolan deserves full props for it. If you disagree with that statement, then take a look at Jared Leto's Joker and the movie Suicide Squad. Leto's Joker had potential. The first look of Jared Leto as the Joker sold the movie to me, and although Leto's thuggish Joker was not appreciated by many fans, I think it's more down to the director David Ayer for not fleshing out Leto's Joker properly and the studio for promoting Leto's Joker when he was not even given enough screen time. That is why I'm excited about the new Joker movie. Not only Jaoquin Phoenix, a talented actor, but the movie is being directed by Todd Phillips, the guy who was associated with movies like A Star is Born, The Hangover, and Project X. If you have not seen any of these movies, I would highly recommend them, especially Project X. That film is amazing. So, back to the teaser. Believe it or not, the moment I saw the teaser, I sat back patiently wondering when the journal is going to roll out their Toxic Masculinity articles, and I was not disappointed. We got not one, not two, but 3 articles to look at. Of course, I will not be going through all of those articles in their entirety, otherwise this video will be like an hour long or so, but I will only look at a few paragraphs that I think need addressing. First up, we have the Daily Dot. Joker is a catnip for Batman's toxic masculinity fandom by Gavia Baker Whitelaw. Todd Phillips' Joker is a genius move for the DC movie franchise, not because it looks good, although surprisingly enough, it does, but because it was engineered to appeal to a specific type of film bro. Yes, it's engineered to appeal to fans, and it's quite obvious that DC is trying to approach the project differently, so why not let them? DC has not been enjoying success at the box office. Batman vs Superman divided the fan base, some loved it and some were disappointed by it. Man of Steel had a very divisive ending. Justice League was not much of a big box office success as DC hoped it would. Same goes for Suicide Squad. Aside from these 3, Aquaman and Wonder Woman performed well. Shazam recently came out at the time of me making this video, so I can't comment on it. Joker doesn't look like it's being made with a $100 million budget, which is a good thing because it gives the movie a unique look, one that is identical to Christopher Nolan's Batman movies. Speaking of which, for the past decade, certain fans have yearned for Batman to be taken seriously, starting with Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy and continuing through Zack Snyder's tenure. This audience's ideal Batman is a violent loner, and they are religiously invested in the mythical Snyder cut of Justice League. Any criticism of Nolan's sexism or Snyder's muddled storytelling is instantly rejected as heresy. No, I'm not going to reject it as heresy, I'm simply going to chalk it down as stupidity. For crying out loud, you're writing an article about Joker, a fictional character, and are trying to tie it to toxic masculinity. Well, come to think of it, the concept of toxic masculinity is fictional too, because if it was real, there would have been something like toxic femininity. And because such a concept doesn't exist, I'm just going to assume that neither does toxic masculinity. Also, Christopher Nolan's sexism? What sexism? What are we talking about here? I have no idea what the heck this lady is on about. You could have at least referenced it to something so people like me would have a bit more of an easier job of roasting you. See, this is why I have no respect for modern age feminism and journalism. For you lot, everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything is homophobic, and you believe it's your responsibility to point it all out. So, author, would you like to tell me what evidence do you have to label Nolan's work sexist? No, seriously, has he ever come out and said that he has a problem with women? Has he ever come out and said that men make better protagonists than women? As far as I know, he never said anything like that, because if there was a record of him saying that, then you would have provided a link to it. You see sexism in his work because you yourself are sexist. Nolan made great movies and told great stories. What have you achieved in your life, Kavya? Are you talented as Nolan? No, you're not, because if you were, you wouldn't be working for the Daily Frickin' Dot. The article continues, there's a lot of spiritual overlap here with the kind of film buff who cares deeply about IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes ratings, itself a very gendered priority, and places high value on gritty dramas about tormented white men, The Godfather, Fight Club, etc. Yeah, because they are good movies. They are great movies. True, it features a white lead, but that becomes irrelevant when you see the story unfold in front of you. In a well-crafted movie, you immerse yourself in the film and feel for the characters. Their loss becomes your loss, and their victory becomes your victory. This is why race, gender, sexual orientation, these things become irrelevant in movies if the movie is well made. And this statement is coming from a person of color, okay, who grew up watching movies like Blade, Rush Hour, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and yes, Tim Burton's Batman. As for Rotten Tomatoes, yeah, I stopped giving a damn about Rotten Tomatoes after the whole Captain Marvel debacle. Seriously, future entertainment historians are going to look at Captain Marvel controversy and go, in 2019, there was a movie called Captain Marvel, starring Brie Larson, which was overshadowed by a movie called Joker, because the leading actor, Jaoquin Phoenix, gave more facial expressions in a teaser trailer than Brie Larson did in her entire movie. Yeah, Brie Larson needs to put on a happy face, but I suppose I can't say that because it's sexist or something. Joker is DC's first prestige movie, a mid-budget drama about Jaoquin Phoenix echoing his performance in The Master. That's a big departure from CGI-heavy blockbusters like Aquaman, but is also a very predictable continuation for the Batman franchise, inviting us to sympathize with a white male outcast who descends into violence. It's practically a checklist trait that DC film bros take seriously. Not an automatically bad idea, but definitely a conservative choice disguised as an original one. Because you know what, author? White males go through some terrible shit too. White male privilege is a myth. It doesn't exist. I've already made a video on it before. Link will be in the description box below. But you know what does exist? Female privilege. If you don't believe me, Kavya, then all you have to do is take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror. Female privilege entitles you to write articles like these and crap upon a movie that is not even out yet, but you are entitled to do so because you are crapping over a white male in a movie that shows what kind of horrible stuff he's going through and what drove him insane. But if it was a white male writing a scathing article about a movie that showcased a woman's suffering, then he would have been branded a misogynist, sexist, Trump-supporting scumbag. So please, Gavia, I just want you to do one thing, okay? I want you to identify the female privilege you are born with, because it is your female privilege in the Western society that allows you to crap over white males in the name of equality. The article concludes with, Joker may well turn out to be great, but it still reiterates a tired old idea of which stories qualify as serious, mature, and sophisticated. As I put it on Twitter, you don't see Warner Brothers making a nostalgic Lois Lane movie in the style of Nora Ephron. Better to stay in the comfort zone of gritty dramas exploring the damaged psyches of lonely white men, the most overdone genre in Hollywood. Hey, you know what, author? If you want a Lois Lane movie in the style of Nora Ephron, why don't you make it yourself? Oh yeah, I forgot you're not talented enough, because if you were, you wouldn't be writing for the Daily Frickin' Dot! The second article we are going to be looking at is from The Independent. If Joker is just another celebration of a toxic, egotistical male justifying his bad behavior, I am not here for it. Then don't watch it! You've already met the Joker. He vaped. His favorite book was The Unbearable Lightness of Being. There was music he understood that you just had to listen to. Few people understood him, but he picked you. Okay. It's written by, I have no idea how the heck you say that name. To give the author some credit, this article is more structured and makes more sense than the one in the Daily Dot, so I'm not going to go full ham on it, but it doesn't mean the article is pretty awesome. It's still an idiotic piece of work written by a woman who clearly has some issues. The new trailer for Joker, the forthcoming movie about the DC Comics villain of the same name, opens with a close-up of a sad man. Well, it actually opens with sweeping views of the New York City skyline at dawn, but the sad man follows pretty quickly. He's dejected and talking to a Department of Health employee. Does it help to have someone to talk to? She asks. Judging by what follows, it doesn't. See, the Joker is moody. It is, of course, his mother's fault. She always told him to smile and put on a happy face. The sad man laments. She told him he had a purpose to bring laughter and joy to the world. No. It's not his mother's fault. I have seen the teaser many times, and he never said anywhere in the teaser that he blamed his mother or it was his mother's fault. That is your own projection. In fact, in the teaser, Joker seems to be pretty close to his mother. He's shown taking care of her. In the teaser, he goes through some horrible stuff, but he has one person in his life that helps him stay sane in this horrible world, and that person is his mother. So just imagine what he would go through if that person is taken away from him viciously. What would he go through mentally? You know what? And this is something you're probably not going to enjoy listening to, but since we are here, so I'm going to say it. All you crazy feminists jump on the gun of toxic masculinity so quickly that it almost makes me wonder if there was a woman out there who can jump on me that quick. Okay, that was a bad joke, but seriously, have you ever tried looking into the high suicide ratio of men? Have you looked into men's mental health issues? There are more men committing suicide because they are lonely and have no one to turn to talk to, and women are part of the problem. Women expect so much from their ideal men that is ridiculous. Case in point, my dating life. I go up to a chick to start a conversation and I get shot down so fast you would wish she was on the Pearl Harbor the day the Japanese invaded, because they would have never stood a chance. Oh, you're too short. short. You don't earn as much. You got a lot of hair on your body. You're a bit fat. Ew, gross. This guy's verbally raping me. Hashtag me too. Bitch is expecting Brad Pitt to turn up or something. And you know what? There are guys who look like Brad Pitt that are in the bar, but none of them is talking to this woman because they're busy talking to a chick that looks like Jennifer Lawrence. Stop talking about your personal issues and get on with the video. But at least I have a YouTube channel to turn to, and truth be told, that's what keeps me sane. But what about other men who get shot down repeatedly? They don't have anyone to talk to. They are told to just shut up and do their jobs. And on top of that, if they are white cisgendered males, then they are told to have this privilege that grants them extra in life. And because they have this privilege, what little they have will be taken from them in the name of equality. Men go through so much rubbish to provide for their loved ones. We are bullied, battered. We are expected to step up to occasions when they arise. Take a look at the teaser and male privilege is nowhere to be seen. The dude is getting punched, kicked, he's emotionally crushed. We finally have a movie that shows how certain brutal elements of society can actually drive a person insane. This is the perfect opportunity for all you journalists to raise awareness on men's mental health issues, but all I have seen is you lot trying to push the narrative of toxic masculinity that is rooted in your own personal issues. How do I know? Because the article continues, but here's the thing. You've already met the Joker, and he wasn't nearly as interesting or attractive in real life. Perhaps you didn't realize he was the Joker because he didn't look like Heath Ledger or Jared Leto. Perhaps he smoked or vaped. Perhaps his favorite book was Infinite Jest, or was it Milan Kundra's The Unbearable Lightness of Being? Perhaps he wanted to show you the world. There were books he wanted you to read and music you just had to listen to. Few people understood him. He was trying his best, but the world just seemed to be against him. All he wanted was a special soul who would finally get him. And how lucky were you that he picked you? Honey, you got issues, and I'm just gonna let Michael Jordan talk some sense into you.
Stop it. Get some help.
At the end, the author writes, of course, Joker hasn't even come out yet, so it's too early to judge his portrayal of the title character. There is a possibility the film will present a fuller picture of the supervillain in a way that doesn't completely glamorizes his neurosis. I'll certainly be on the lookout. Then why the hell are you even writing this article? Why are you making such assumptions? You know what? I'm done. I'm done with all of this. I was going to go through another article titled Joker Trailer Leans into the Reality of Toxic White Male Frugality. But you know what? I'm sorry. I've had enough. I've had enough. I don't have enough in me to go through this cancer as well. Moral of the story is, all these articles are coming out about toxic white males. And guess what? None of these idiots have seen the movie because it's not even out yet. But they're gonna jump on the bandwagon. They need something to write about. You know, it's really worrying that all these writers and editors get paid for writing such damning articles. And here I am making YouTube videos and I'm not even making any kind of money out of it. Well, now you guys know why I'm making videos for my channel, because I need to keep the depression at bay. Not today, my friend. Not today. I'm sorry, I was all over the place with this video. So yeah, thanks all for hearing me out, people. Rate, comment and subscribe if you want to. You don't have to, but if you choose to do so, it will only make my voice louder, my channel stronger, and my small PP harder. But jokes aside, somebody has to address these journalists and their hypocrisy. Might as well be me. I'm like Batman, only I'm poor, ugly looking, seriously out of shape, and can't fight for crap. Oh, and also if you want me to make a video on something, feel free to forward me on Twitter and Facebook. Peace out, people, and stay awesome.